Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm just excited to have the winter or the fall meeting of the regional council and the quarterly meeting with the regional representatives. I'm really happy that we are pushing things forward to shape the regional council, and we'll have a meeting today to discuss about the updates in different regions, and hopefully it's going to be something that everybody enjoys in the process of seeing how the progress is being made around the world. Okay, this is that fall meeting technically, and this is a quarterly meeting that we have with the regional representatives. It's something like an internal meeting for the council to have the updates and see what is happening around the world in different regions. And we'll start with our president, Alex, Professor Baldacchino. Please.
Thank you, Hamed. Thank you. I won't take long, but again, I look forward to join in these meetings, really. And in a way, I'm going through a very interesting stage in my life. I've actually semi-retired, but so you tend to reflect. You tend to reflect on lots and lots of things. And I was reflecting on what Dave Martel had said in the WhatsApp. Actually, is that considering the situation that we're in globally. Humanitarian disasters, war, earthquakes, and it's happening on a daily basis. And it's very easy to be despondent and think in negative terms. But Dave, if I may quote you, Dave, said it's so good to be part of this fellowship called the Regional Council, which I thought was quite a powerful statement. So I'll leave you to reflect on a quote that it wasn't Dave Martin, but it's the Dalai Lama. I think it's equivalent to Dave Martin. And what he said is, and I think it's something that I think reflects to all of us here, is the Dalai Lama said, follow the 3 R's: respect for self, respect for others, and take responsibility for all your actions. And I think, your position, your role, thanks to Hamid's leadership, regional council, regional representative, is all about that. It's about taking responsibilities, respecting self, and respecting others in a very, very testing and challenging global situation. So, with that, I'll leave it. I'll go back. I'll ask Hamid to continue with the meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Alex. And indeed, that is a major challenge around the world, seeing all those disasters are happening. And it's just amazing to see the solidarity and kind of the compassion that people have trying to get together and see how we can solve problems around the world together. So that is a great hope that we have with all these global activities that we are doing. So within the regional council, just kind of starting the process, making sure that we will have an update about the things that are happening around the world. We are going to have the next or winter regional council on Tuesday, January 30th. So that is my first slide, just making sure everybody would be able to mark that in their calendar. So I'm going to send you an invite, making sure everybody is informed. But please, if there is any specific thing that you basically need to change the time, or we are a little bit flexible in terms of changing the dates because we are not a kind of large group of people, so we can be a little bit flexible in terms of the timing of the council's meeting. But as you can imagine, as we have some like 15 different representatives around the world, it's a little bit hard to make sure that there is a time that is going to work for everybody. So we try to inform everybody in advance, like 3 months before, just make sure that everybody would be able to make it. But to start, I would like to kind of introduce 3 new members that we have in the regional council. We have Carol, we have Ayana, and we have Forrest. So we can start with these 3 new members and ask them to just introduce themselves and kind of give us a little bit of a background about what they are doing. And I know that Carol and Ayana already have some reports about their progress in the regions. And Forrest just joined us yesterday, basically. So he's pretty new to the community, but I'm hopeful that he's also going to be one of the active members in the community. Carol, do you want to start?
My name is Carol Weiss. I'm an addiction psychiatrist located in New York. I'm on the faculty at Weill Cornell Medical Center. I am an addiction psychiatrist, as I said. I work in a treatment program called Center for Trauma and Addiction. And given that, I'm co-chairing the ISAM work group on dual diagnosis of PTSD and SUD together with Shalini. And we'll be giving a presentation in Marrakesh. We'll be the chair of a symposium to that effect in Marrakesh in a few weeks. So I'm very excited to rally as many Americans as I can to teach them about ISAM and bring them into the fold.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol. Ayana.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Ayana Gibbs. I'm a forensic psychiatrist by background. I've worked previously in academia and also in the pharmaceutical industry. But now I'm working mainly clinically online with a large telepsychiatry provider in the UK called Psychiatry UK. And so that has meant that I'm quite flexible with where I'm based. So I'm mostly back in Barbados, which is where I'm from, and working with the Barbados Association of Psychiatrists and also others around the region to kind of foster collaboration in relation to my main interests, which are ADHD, which is my clinical interest, but then also I'm interested in the overlap with substance use disorders. So that's the focus at the moment. Looking
Thank
forward
you,
to
Ayana.
working with everyone.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the community. And
Thanks,
we have Faris, Dr. Faris Al-Harbi. Faris, are you with us?
Yes. Hi. First, I would like to thank you for joining to the regional council as a regional representative. It's a great opportunity for me, and I would like you to thank you all for Dr. Ekhtiari and Dr. Al-Ghafri for this opportunity and for the board. My background for me, I am addiction psychiatrist. I take my fellowship. I finished my medical degree and the psychiatric board. Then I have fellowship in Canada with Dr. Nader Jibali, I think in 2010. And after that, I started to work in many places here in Saudi Arabia and also in Egypt. I am the chairman of psychiatric and addiction services in Dalla hospitals. And I am the board member of many addiction rehab centers in Saudi Arabia and in Egypt. And also, I work in the university here in Medical College of King Abdulaziz University in Riyadh. I attend many ISAM meetings since 2009. I think I'm regular in attending meeting. Only one meeting that I missed in, I think in Scotland, and that's the only one. So it's nice to meet you all. I hope I will add something to the ISAM community and the ISAM family. Thank you.
Dr. Al-Harbi, it's great to have you here. And yeah, you missed a really important one that Alex was the chair. So, but that was a really important meeting. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to meet you in person in Marrakesh, hopefully soon.
Hopefully, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, so now we can just have an overview about what we do in the ISAM Regional Council. As you know, we have 15 regions around the world, and Forest is going to represent the West Asia region. But you can see we have 15 areas around the world, and the good news is, other than Mexico and Central America, that we are working on that right now, all the other kind of regions, they have their own regional representatives. So that is good that we have almost a full council of people who are active in different regions. And hopefully we will have the representative for Central America and Mexico as well very soon. In that process, as we have been discussing before, we have a structure of having regional representatives, but beyond regional representatives, we are hopeful that regional representatives would be in touch with addiction medicine societies and enable addiction medicine societies in the national level around the world. In some regions, for example, in Europe, there are already multiple addiction medicine or addiction psychiatry societies that they are getting affiliated to ISAM. But in some regions or in some countries, we do not have addiction medicine societies. So we are hopeful to be able to enable communities in those countries to be able to develop their own addiction medicine society. And to start that process, we are trying to basically define contact persons in those countries, as we call kind of national ambassadors. We are not kind of still using that in an official term, but just kind of something like a term that we are using among ourselves, and also some country experts who are going to be connected or make that network of people. And we are hopeful that those kind of infrastructures would end up to addiction medicine societies or addiction psychiatry societies in different countries around the world, to be able to have a larger community of addiction medicine societies. And right now, I mean, that is something that regional representatives are working on in terms of connecting with people and trying to have a real global representation in ISAM. That is what we are really hopeful to make sure that everyone's voice would be heard, and we do things together in a collaborative way and the fellowship in a way that we can have a true global representativeness and also diversity of people. And even kind of looking into the faces of those who are contributing to the regional council, it shows how diverse the community is right now, and just amazing to see how things are shaping in that process. And we already have something like 44 addiction medicine societies around the world that are affiliated to ISAM. This map is being updated. We already have some new addiction medicine societies that are not kind of labeled in this map. So the map is getting updated over time. I'm really happy that now we have, for example, we already have the Portuguese Society for Addiction Medicine that we haven't kind of labeled here. So there are some new addiction medicine societies that are being affiliated. Or, for example, we had a discussion with the Italian Society for Addiction Medicine, German Society. So we are kind of pushing that forward in terms of making sure that we'll have a larger network of addiction societies that are affiliated to ISAM. And in that process, we have what we call General Assembly of Addiction Medicine Societies. And the first one happened in February 2022. And then we had a meeting in Malta in 2022 in November. And then we basically had the third General Assembly in April 2023. And we are going to have the fourth General Assembly in Marrakesh in something like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And the fifth General Assembly, which is going to be online, we are planning for end of February 2024. So we'll be in touch with you, making sure that we will kind of plan for that. The plan is bringing addiction medicine societies from all the countries that are being kind of affiliated to ISAM, and having them kind of brief report about what is happening in their own country. So that is the plan for hopefully February, and you will be informed about the process. But we are hopeful up to that time you will have a good connection around the world in terms of the addiction medicine societies and how they are going to present in that meeting. And beyond that, we have some kind of other structures in ISAM that are working with the regional council. We have what we call ISAM Global Expert Network, and also ISAM interest groups. And we have, for example, this is the ISAM Neuroscience Interest Group. We have ISAM Behavioral Addiction Policy Practice. So there are different interest groups. And also within the ISAM Global Expert Network, we have some working groups. For example, Carol was mentioning PTSD, substance use disorder work group that is right now shaping, and they are planning for some global surveys and some global activities. Or Ayana was mentioning about substance use disorder and ADHD, and how kind of the treatment is happening and how we can bring people to shape a specific working group around that idea. So the idea of having some work groups that are going to work together within what we call ISAM Global Expert Network. And this is the steering committee of that Global Expert Network that we shape, and we are hopeful to be able to extend that Global Expert Network and the activities around that Global Expert Network. And this is kind of a map of experts that we have in something like 80 different countries around the world. and also communities and societies around the world that are a part of that global activity. And just as an example, we ran a very short survey in terms of what are the services that are available around the world for opioid use disorder. That's something like a pilot survey to see how we can engage addiction medicine societies in different countries. And this is one of the kind of the slides of having an idea about what are the treatment services that are happening around the world and what are the gaps that we have around the world in terms of the services that should be provided in different continents around the world. So we know that these tools are really powerful in terms of bringing people together and finding the gaps and helping people to collaborate with each other to fill in the gaps that are happening around the world. So there are ongoing activities around these sort of working groups and global expert elicitations to be able to promote the field of addiction medicine. Few updates. It might be interesting that we kind of started a discussion with WPA, and the addiction psychiatry section of WPA was inactive for quite a long time. And there was a discussion in terms of that would be nice if that section basically gets activated. And Alex took the leadership and he basically shaped the section, and he's going to be the chair of that section. And we had a meeting in Vienna with a couple of people who have been interested to kind of be a part of that process and shape the addiction psychiatry section in WPA. And we are planning to have the actual launch of that section in Mexico City in November next year. But I mean, that is a independent process from the ISAM activity, so that is a different entity. But the good thing about having that entity collaborating with ISAM is we will have the opportunity to be able to have WPA in activities that we are doing in ISAM. So there are going to be some WPA ISAM activities around comorbidities, and we are hopeful to be able to bring people together around that specific topic.
Yes.
And then we had a meeting with kind of people in WHO discussing about the kind of potentials for collaborations with WHO and also people in UN and UNODC. And there is already an interest in UN to see how they can kind of be a part of the network that we are making. And also they offered a help in terms of if there is a specific country that you cannot find an expert, we will be happy if we have an expert in that country to share contact information. So they are happy to be a part of the process. And also they are asking in terms of, okay, there are some countries that we do not have enough contacts. So it would be nice if you can introduce me. So we are trying to collaborate with UN around that process. And that's an ongoing discussion as well. So now we are going to go for the council's report and what is happening in different parts of the world. We have been planning to start with Shalini because it's just the late time for Shalini and her team, Wiki, but it seems that Dave is going to leave earlier.